NEA says that ability grouping, also known as tracking, is the practice of grouping children together according to their talents in the classroom. According to TES News, grouping by ability relies on the assumption that teachers know exactly what children will achieve. Urson and Hallam explain that there are different forms of ability grouping: setting and streaming. Setting is having ability groups for specific subjects, usually core, and having mixed ability groups for the foundation subjects. Streaming is having ability groups for all lessons. These groups stay the same. Ability groupings affect inclusion because it can put pressure and constraints on either side of the spectrum.
Whilst on placement, I experienced a situation that could have a negative impact on a child's self-esteem in relation to ability groupings. A middle ability child was moved down into the lower set. A high ability child said, "That's because you're thick." This caused a negative atmosphere in the classroom and showed the negative impact ability groupings can have.
However, my experience of ability groupings is completely different. The children in my class were placed in mixed ability tables, which I found had a positive impact on children's self-esteem and self-concept. Children would be given the same work, but teachers' expectations on what they had to complete would be different depending on the ability of the child. Because of this, the children would see themselves as equals, which made them a more inclusive environment for all the children.
We chose ability groups as our focus because of the two contrasting experiences from placement. After discussing it as a group, we decided that this needed further exploration and may influence our future practice. Ison and Hallam said that streaming had an adverse impact on children's self-esteem. Oakes also supports this, stating that the self-concept of low-track students becomes more negative as years go by. However, a meta-analysis of 13 studies by Kulik and Kulik found no overall effect of ability grouping on self-esteem.
Since the 1960s, a large body of evidence has been built by Rosenthal and colleagues into the relationship between teacher and pupil performance. It was found that a child's performance can depend upon the teacher's perceptions and expectations of the students, which can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. A self-fulfilling prophecy is when a person truly believes and emulates the label that they've been given and live up to these expectations. The child's sense of self-efficacy will subsequently lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. If a child is suffering with low self-esteem due to their place in an ability group, they can become critical of their own academic ability and live up to these expectations of the teacher, giving in to the self-fulfilling prophecy.
The impact of low self-esteem on children can have a negative effect on children's future in and outside of school. Children will avoid opportunities and challenges in school due to their fear of failure and humiliation. They are also at risk of dropping out of school early due to their disengagement in lessons, which can then produce a negative impact on future jobs due to lack of qualifications.
A lack of self-esteem can also affect children's personal lives in a sense of lack of self-care for themselves and being overly sensitive to criticism, making relationships with others more difficult.
In our future practice, we will need to consider the implications ability groupings has on children. It will be important to encourage children to value and support others in their learning, whilst being fluid on our own practice to ensure that children understand their own academic achievement in a way that boosts their own self-esteem.